Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here to talk about intuition. My name is Laura West, and I'm a registered nurse and a medium, a channeler, an energy healer, and I just wanted to share about intuition today. So thank you again for joining me. I did want to go ahead and start with a few deep breaths. So let's go ahead and do that together. Felt really nice. So I wanted to start, I have 30 minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. But I wanted to start by talking about intuition and what it is. I do have my notes over here, so if I look over to the side, that's what I'm referring to. So intuition, it's a feeling, it's an inner knowing, it's an internal compass, and what it does is it's intended to guide you and lead you towards decisions that are for your highest and best good. So, for example, I was in a relationship many years ago that I was definitely intended to learn from. I had many instances during that relationship where my intuition was trying to guide me away from it, and I call that red flags. But for years I chose to ignore it until I finally decided that enough was enough. And then once I did, and once I listened to my intuition and left a relationship that was not serving me, it was amazing all of the positive changes that happened in my life and the weight that would be lifted from my shoulders. So intuition is there to help us and to guide us. I want to compare this to, to ego, and sort of the understanding of what ego is. And ego, the understanding with ego is that it's sort of more of the human aspect of our guidance. So, for example, the ego would stem back from the physical times of when we had to live in these groups for survival. So if we did anything that would outcast us or, make us make an unwise decision, it could be a matter of life or death. Well, we've carried that over all these lifetimes, even to this one, to where we may not make decisions because our ego is preventing us from doing so. So, for example, going back to that same relationship example that I gave earlier about intuition, my ego was keeping me from leaving for a couple reasons. One, because I was fearful that I wouldn't meet anybody else. And also I was fearful of retaliation if I did decide to leave him. So obviously staying with him didn't serve my higher purpose, but ego was keeping me there for as long as it did because I was fearful of what would happen if I left. Whereas intuition was telling me, no, you need to listen to these red flags and you need to leave because it's not serving you anymore. So you can kind of see that where that conflict can come in with ego versus intuition. And not just in relationships, but in all aspects of life, whether it's, work related or whether it's other sort of relationships, friendships, relationships with other family members. Hi, Stephanie. I'm so glad you're here. It doesn't have to be necessarily a romantic relationship. Just any aspect in your life. It could even be just when you're driving home from work and you want to take the same route that you do every day. You want to take that same route every day because you know that coming home from work, that's going to be the quickest way. That's going to be the route that you take. That's going to be the less amount of traffic. So you're like, no, I just want to get home. I know that this is the direction that it takes to work. Thank you, Stephanie, for the love bombs. They do feel nice. And so, but intuition may kick in and say, you know what, I should probably take a right over here, but I normally go straight because it's faster, but intuition's telling me I gotta go right. And usually it's for a reason. Usually it's because turning right is going to help you with your higher purpose. Maybe going straight would have led you to some sort of accident or flat tire or something that would have prevented you from being able to serve your purpose. And I mean, I can keep stemming off here, but just to briefly say, like, making that right turn versus going straight, whichever decision you decide to make is going to affect the collective somehow, because we're all connected. So anyways, so that, you know, that's a kind of an example of when maybe intuition versus your ego, which is like, no, I just want to get straight home, and this is the way that I go. Intuition saying, no, you need to make a right turn over here. So that's just sort of another example. It doesn't have to be something quite as intense as, you know, I'm in this relationship that's not serving me, and it's time to go. Let's see. So I want to kind of go into who or what is behind your intuition. Oh, you're glad I said that. Thank you, Steph. I'm glad I said it too. That's right. It's so true, just trusting our intuition when it goes beyond. Absolutely. Especially when it's out of nowhere. And the thing with intuition, and I'll talk about this quickly before I go into the next section, is that intuition it's not something that we conjure up on our own. It is a thought that just pops into our mind automatically. And so that's kind of a nice segue into, well, who or what is behind that intuitive thought. So we all have a soul team, and a soul team is made up of spirit guides, angels, our higher self, source. You know, it's made up of all of these beautiful, loving beings on the other side, and we each have a team. And spirit guides, more specifically, I'm going to go into right now. But spirit guides are with us from the very beginning, since we've been created. And they are a lot of the times the ones responsible for the information that we're getting. I am channeling a lot of this information right now from my spirit guide, Jason, who is helping me with this live. And, you know, he is the one who's wanting me to let you guys know that they are the ones that really do communicate. When you hear that, you know, no, stop, go this way, or if you know, it could be auditory, it could be something that, you know, a vision that you see, it could just be a knowing or a sense that you get from within, and that tug or that feeling that you get, whether it's in your gut, in your heart, wherever you feel your intuition, excuse me, that's your guide speaking to you. And that's sort of the way that they do it, and that's the way that they're able to get your attention. So a spirit guide is a being on the other side who has had lives on Earth. They've incarnated multiple lives, a few lives on Earth, and in doing so, it allows them to be empathetic in our life situations here, because on the other side, things are very, there's so much love on the other side that you really feel like you could conquer anything. And so, you know, when we come here and we're in the hardest school that there is here on Earth, you know, we really do need that sort of divine guidance from somebody who has been to this school, to know and understand what it is that we're going through. And so our guides are perfect for that sense. They do differ from angels because of that. So angels have never incarnated, and they're sort of from a different realm. But our guides are in a realm where they can relate to us, and they've been through these lives as well, and very knowledgeable. And let me see, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So if you are interested in learning more about your guides, or even how to meet them, please send me a DM or a PM with your email address. I do have a freebie that I can email to you. It talks about, you know, who your spirit guides are and how you can meet them and what you can do to meet them. And these are techniques that have worked for me. So I would love to be able to share those with you. So if you are interested, please send me a message with your email address and I will get that out to you. Oh, Evelyn likes my hairpin. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it's a little bit of bling for the morning. Gets me going. I wanted to see if anybody that's on had any questions so far about anything that I've talked about, whether it's intuition, ego, spirit guides, soul teams. Let's see. Stephanie wrote, I'm feeling compelled to buy a painting from Deb. What are my guides telling me? Oh, yay. Okay. So I was hoping that I would get a chance to channel for people and answer questions. So great. So right away, as soon as I read that, I got a yes. And they're showing me Deb's beautiful smile. They're showing me that this exchange that's going to happen. It's like even though I'm sure it's going to be mailed, but I see like this exchange between you and her. It's like painting and money, and there's this physical exchange going on, and you guys are both smiling, and there's so much joy around this exchange that it's interesting because the image that they're showing me, I'm so sorry, that's my dog's walking in the background. Sorry. But the images that they're showing me are it's like they're showing me like that dragonfly one, which is really, I mean, that one was beautiful. I follow her on Facebook, so I've seen her artwork. Sorry about my dog. So I've seen her artwork, and she has this beautiful dragonfly picture, and for some reason that's the one that's coming to me right now. So yay, yeah, if anybody has any questions about that stuff too, I'm very happy to help answer that. Where's my old man dog? Oh, that's my buddy. He's a lab. He's 13 and a half years old, but he acts like he's 2. He's so sweet. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss anything really quick. Okay. Let's see. Susan, what are my guides telling me to do about my financial situation? So right away, what's coming through is they're saying, sit back and relax. It sounds like what they want you to know is that things are going to come in due time. They don't want you to feel, I'm so sorry, I hope you can hear me. They don't want you to feel rushed. They said you need to trust the timing and know that everything is working out how it's supposed to. They like to say this to people, but they like to remind us as well that they're busy working behind the scenes. It's almost like I see like all these worker bees, you know, it's like they're so busy running around and figuring things out for us. And so they're wanting you to know that that's what's happening, and to trust the timing, sit back, relax, don't worry about it because it's starting to become all consuming for you and they don't want that to be the case. This is supposed to be a time that's of growth, they said, of growth, of positive growth. And we want you to take that sort of that anxious aspect away from it so that you are able to actually appreciate this time and appreciate everything that's going on around you. And they don't want you to worry so much about the financial because it's going to work out. And what they're also saying, and this is a lesson to all of us really, is that once you start to put that sort of anxious feeling around finances, it becomes an anxious thing, like an anxiety trigger. So what they're saying is to, they want you to change that thinking. And again, this goes really for many of us. Change that thinking, change that mind frame so that it becomes more of a positive aspect in your life, especially when it comes to finances. Thank you. Stephanie wrote, I feel like it's an energy exchange in the universe and also calling me to level up my business. definitely an exchange that I saw between you and Deb. And it was like her handing you a painting and you handing her money. And it was like the cheesiest thing because it's like you guys are both, it's like you're smiling at a camera while you're exchanging these things, but it was really funny. It's very blatant. That's awesome. Oh, it's a koi. Oh, I love that. Deb, hey, oh my gosh, we were just talking about you and your amazing paintings and your beautiful smile. Evelyn, your pup loves to be a part of the party. That's good because mine does too. Oh, thank you, Steph. I won't worry about Buddy. He's laying down now, so his paws won't be making a ton of noise. You're welcome, Susan. Oh, I love the koi talk. Melissa, thank you so much. This is amazing. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad I can help. Oh my gosh, Deb, that's so funny. Your ears were burning. Yeah, we were talking about you, but it was all good things, right? That's what Olaf says. I also wanted to take this time and channel my guide Jason to see if he had anything to add in regards to intuition that he wanted to share with the group or whoever is supposed to be watching this. And then if there are any more questions after that, I'll be happy to take them. But I know Jason's been wanting to come through and talk because while I was meditating this morning, it was like the thought came into my mind and then I was very excited to do it. So before I channel Jason, going back to intuition, that for me is sort of another example of how I've learned to follow mine. And I can start to tell, once you do it often enough, you can start to tell, who, when it's your intuition and when it's not, when it serves you, when it doesn't. And then you can, I'm also learned to be able to tell who is who, just because I've been working on these relationships. So when I say that, because this can be helpful when it comes to understanding intuition and who might be speaking to you. But I can tell it's my guides when I hear a high-pitched whistling, like a high-pitched sound in my ear. It's usually on my right ear. I can tell when it's my guardian angel because I actually get a flutter in my ear. And the way that I've learned these things is really just from it's like a thought just like pops into my head and it's kind of like, oh, like that explains that, because I've been wondering, I know I'm getting these sensations. I know I don't have tinnitus or any other sort of medical diagnosis because it's so sporadic. And I know as soon as it happens, it's related to something spiritual. So I've been wondering for a while, gosh, I wonder what those mean. Like, cause every time I get that feeling, it's almost like an intuitive hit. It makes me stop to think, okay, am I going to get a download right now? Do I need to be aware of my surroundings? Like, what is going on? So for me, it has been helpful to learn how my guides and how my angels communicate with me. And it could be helpful for you too. However, it's not important. What's important is learning whether or not the guidance that you're receiving is intended to help you or not. And then I've also learned recently, because this has been going on since I was in high school, but I can get the sense that like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's almost like the room gets brighter. There's like an increase in energy that I sense, and I've been sensing it since high school. And it's the weirdest thing, but I always thought it was related to the TV turning on. And I don't know if some of you can relate to this, but before the flat screens, when we had sort of the bigger TVs, there was like a high-pitched sound you can hear when the TV turned on. It was like when the energy went through the TV. It was really interesting. And I just associated it to that every time I felt that energy, someone turned the TV on either here or next door, which maybe now that I'm looking back on that, that's kind of interesting too. Like, who can tell when their neighbor's TV turns on, right? So, okay. But that was kind of my explanation for it, because that was the only time that I actually would get this sensation. It was very similar to the television turning on. And now I don't get that so much with the flat screens. I don't know why. Maybe a technological difference, but I still will get that sensation every once in a while. I get it rather frequently, multiple times a week. And in my home, I'm actually getting it again right now, which is really interesting, because I've learned in a meditation that is actually Jesus. So that was fascinating to me because I don't know if some of you know, but kind of going back to guides and soul teams, I had a dream about Jesus. I call it a visitation because I can remember it clearly to this day. Back when I was about, I don't know, maybe 16, 17 years old, perhaps around the time that soon after I started to get these sensations with the television, which is really interesting, coming to think of the timing of everything. And, I had a dream visitation with him, and it was so vivid, so real. I still remember it to this day. So I know for a fact that he did visit me. So to then all these years later, I won't tell you how many years, but all these years later, just recently I was able to, I was just now told what that sensation was equal to. It's so interesting, the timing. Going back to our guides and our soul teams and learning about how they communicate with us, I feel like everything through our spiritual journey is based on timing. And not our timing. It's our soul team's timing. I'm so sorry about the lighting. I feel like it's like off and on the way I move. I hope it's not bothersome. I'm sorry if it is. But it's all about timing on the other side. So I want to really stress to have patience and trust that you will get answers that you that you need to receive when the timing is right, and if it serves your higher purpose. Thank you, Steph. Okay, and if it serves your higher purpose, but just have patience, because it's when you stop thinking about, gosh, when is the answer going to come? When is the answer going to come? That the answer comes. So really, just let that go. It's the best way to do it. So I have about 8 minutes left. So I have about 8 minutes left. So I just wanted to quickly see if Jason, my main guide, has anything to say. I know he does. I'm going to let him talk about intuition now, and then I'll answer any extra questions after that. Okay. All right. So let me give him a chance to come through. So this is what he says. It's so great to be here with everybody. I really enjoy the time that I get to come through and speak to everyone about topics like this. Intuition is such a great topic because what it does is it allows us to learn how to communicate with each other. Intuition is something that we are all born with. It is innate. It is something that was programmed before this life even started, before any lives even started, because we needed a mechanism to be able to speak and communicate with each other when we need to. So, for example, just like the examples that Laura gave, right? When you are driving and we need to intervene somehow because we know we need to help you in that moment, we will. And so intuition is something that has allowed us to be able to do that. It is so important, and we want you to remember so much that you are so loved and you are so guided. So many of us on this other side find it really hard to get through. And that's because of how busy the everyday lives have become for all of you. When you can learn to take in meditation into a part of your daily practice, that helps to strengthen that connection. That helps to give us a 5G connection. that allows us to be able to intervene more. We want to have relationships with all of you. We want to be able to be there for all of you. And we are, however, we know that it will benefit you so much more if you are able to communicate back. If you are able to be aware of that communication that we are attempting to get through to you. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating for us. Yes, we do have feelings like that on this side, but it's a frustration out of love. It's because we only want what is best for you. And when that gets blocked off, it gets frustrating because we love you so much and we want to make sure that what comes through to you is going to be helpful. Sometimes we have to wiggle our way through that body and actually get into the gut and actually get into the heart and make you feel things physically for you to understand our communication. Sometimes we're able to give you a thought, and as long as you know it's not your own, you will listen. But most of the time, and for most people, we've got to do it in a physical way, because being in this three-dimensional world that you are in, that's how you speak to each other. That's how you know. It's through the physical. Physical is very important to you guys. And so because of that, we have learned to be able to also speak to you in a physical way. So that's why many of you will feel the tug in your gut or the pull in your heart, because, he's even adding that shortness of breath, the feeling in the lungs. Sorry, Jason. Thank you. Because of those physical feelings, that's how we're able to get through to you, and that's why you call it butterflies, and that's why you call it heart ache or a pull, a tug in the chest. It's because we are able to physically manipulate what we need to within your body and in your DNA, and using your soul to be able to communicate. But I will say it is the preferred method to be able to communicate through your minds, because your minds are much more open. It gives us more to work with. Sorry, Jason, I had to check the time. It gives us more to work with. It gives us more to play with. We want to be able to send you images. We want to be able to send you thoughts and sounds, and we want to communicate in that manner, and you can communicate with us the same way through the same channel of the mind. But in order to do so, it needs to quiet down a little bit. You need to calm down from all the busy daily activity that just is all consuming in that mind. We will still send those physical tugs, we will still send those the physical sensations, but we really prefer to do it through the mind. So we urge the meditation. We like the meditation because it allows us to do so. I want you guys all to really enjoy this day. Enjoy the rest of the talks that happen, because they will be very helpful in strengthening bonds, strengthening spirituality, and strengthening your beliefs. Because this is the direction that you need to go. This is where we know is best. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jason. Yay! Thank you, Jason. Bye, Gina. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you. Let's see. I've got 2 minutes left. So I just wanted to throw it out there. Jennifer, will you tell me more about your visit with Jesus, please? Oh my gosh. Yes, I would love to. I don't unfortunately have time right now because I've got to go for the next speaker. But can you send me a private message and then we can talk, because it's such a really cool story, actually. Maybe you have one to share with me too. But I do have a freebie that I'd like to share with everybody. It's about spirit guides, like I said, and it's about how to meet your own spirit guides. So I'd really love to share that with you. So if you're interested, please send me your email for via private message or direct message, so that I can get that out to you, because those are methods that worked for me in the past. So I'd love to share that with you guys. thank you guys so much for joining me today. And hopefully if you couldn't make it, thanks for joining the replay. And you guys have a beautiful, blessed day, and hopefully talk to some of you guys soon. All right, much love. Thank you so much. Bye.